Hello everybody. Happy Saturday, December 23rd. We are in winter solstice, and for me, I am in Yule, which started the 21st and will go until about January 3rd, I believe. So this is my second or third video for the winter solstice Yuletide vlog. And welcome to my channel. My name is Sabrina. I am a psychic medium. I'm a psychic healer. And if you've been following me lately, I have been on this journey of really looking more into psychic bindings, really. I have been, for the past 2 months, really researching different types of behaviors and looking at names and terms that I can actually assign to my marriage and what was going on with my partner and all of the things that were happening, and also my childhood and being raised by an alcoholic mother who was, I believe, narcissistic. She had narcissistic traits. I think she was a covert narcissist, although she could be somewhat flamboyant and overt at times. She craved attention. So, I'm still learning, and it's all about toxic behaviors. Now, I've talked about codependence and statistics. I'm looking at a lot of statistics, and supposedly 90% of the population is suffering from some type of codependency. It is, when it comes to alcohol chemical dependency, the biggest codependency, chemical dependency in the United States of America. Alcohol. Oh, by the way, here's my snowflake. It's not very, I don't have a liquid eyeliner, so. Now, all of this I know is heavy material, but, after 20 plus years of me experiencing a variety of things, I haven't been able to actually give a name to things. This is a part of this journey. This is a part of this spiritual path, guys, and knowing what spirituality really is. And the one thing I have said I want to teach everyone, if they learn nothing else, is that thoughts are things, thoughts are energy, and how you use them is up to you. You can use them to do a great many things. Now, I've only talked briefly about psychic vampirism and learning about this type of energy transfer, and I've admitted that being around young people, children, for so many years has probably contributed to me actually looking much younger than I actually am, even though I feel like I do need a neck lift or a lower face lift, and I am going to get one. But I've also been working to lose weight, and I've got muscles, and I highly recommend the row machine because I'm starting to get a flatter belly. This is a big part of releasing energy. Everything is energy. So as I've been watching videos on psychic vampirism, I'm remembering when I was going through, my divorce was pending, and I was in this haunted house, and I've written a book about it, and I need to finish it and put it up on Amazon Kindle. But it's been hard for me because I didn't want to relive it. It was awful. We're talking about multiple disembodied spirits torturing everyone in the building. So there was no sleep. I knew when the baby across the hall was crying that there was a spirit from the basement coming up through the plug in the wall. I felt horrible for that baby because they're defenseless. They don't know what's going on. It's quite a story, and I think instead of calling it just Haunted House, I'm going to subtitle it Psychic Vampirism and how to defend yourself against it. I want to talk about psychic bindings and not just energy harvesting. Part of what was going on in this haunted apartment, get rid of my hair here, was noise. If you are suffering sleep deprivation, which I've heard some narcissists will do to their partners, and my mother actually did it to me. She was torturing me one time and just kept waking me up, listen to me, I have to tell you, you're not, I need to tell you this, you're not, treating me right, you're not listening or whatever. She just took joy in waking me up. And there was some incredible stress that I actually felt one morning as I was having a dream, and I felt like I had a knife in my hand and I stabbed my bed. That's when I told her, you have to leave. I can't take this craziness with you in my tiny little studio apartment, saying things like, you're a victim and she didn't ask to be born, or I asked to be born, or I don't, it was just a mess. She wanted to control, she wanted to be the housemaid, she wanted to be the codependent housemaid while I went to work to make the money and pay for my teeny tiny little room that was in the back of the house. I wasn't supposed to have guests for more than a few days back there, and she wouldn't leave. And I finally got a letter from the landlord telling me he was kicking me out. She didn't care. And she had not saved the amount of money she wanted to save. So I figured I was going to go to a women's hotel dormitory situation where I was going to have my own little room. And there was no way that they would allow her to stay with me in that tiny room. And then she went over there and got her own room. So, I had to separate myself from her so that she would stop trying to drain me like a vampire. Well, I didn't mean to get on that tangent. I have a million things going on in my head. I hope you're enjoying your holidays and you got your shopping done. I've got a couple of Christmas presents from my friend, and that's about it. But yeah, the energy harvesting that was going on in the haunted apartment building was easier once they deprived us all of sleep. And so I was very, very drained. I was really being affected. I could hear some voice whisper in my ear, and it sounded like, kill yourself. And things were falling off my daughter's dresser. Things were falling off the bathroom shelf. Things were falling in the kitchen, and kitchen cabinets were opening. And we had been there for 4 months, and only mild activity was happening at that time. But a picture had fallen off the wall for no reason. Nobody was walking up above me. There was no vibration going on. I wasn't in the hall closet. And I had a friend who was living up above me. She wasn't doing anything. It just fell off the wall. And I looked, and the nail was not bent. And I just had a creepy feeling. So it escalated, and it began to be much more noticeable in late fall, late August, early September. That is when my clairvoyance picks up, and I saw this thing floating out of my bedroom down the hallway to the kitchen. It was in a monk's robe. And I thought, oh, I have monks, the spirit of monks with me in my apartment. Oh my God, no, that wasn't it. Because as the noise escalated to keep us all sleep deprived, and then stuff was going on during the daytime as well, lowering our defenses, guys, lowering our defenses, me and my teenage daughter, so that they could speak to us. I think there's an episode like that in Charmed. and influence us because our guard was down. Our aura was weak. And the only way that I could charge it was to try to lay next to a candle at my bed or be away from the building when I was at work. And when I went to work after half an hour, I felt so much better, so much lighter. But on my way up the stairs to clock out, I felt like I was being told to jump over the railing and kill myself. And part of it was because I was so sleep deprived. But I had developed a very strong will, and I was pushing myself. I had already learned about the power of words and the power of thought and affirmations, and I was saying things to myself every day. So that's what I was doing in the apartment, and I was starting to get angry. They were getting to me, right? And at one point I screamed at these things going on in the apartment. And I knew that that wasn't going to help. So I had a mirror at the end of my bed, and then I had my pentagram of Venus above my bed, so I could see the reflection of it in the mirror. This was my psychic protection for nighttime, and my familiar bass slept next to me. She saw the things. I know she did because I could see the look in her face. She was not happy. She was uncomfortable laying next to me, but she laid next to me to be next to me, and there was a radiator, and the radiator would be banging all night. The radiator in the living room would be banging all night, and we could hear things going on in the basement. No one was in the basement. It was constant torture. And by lowering our defenses through sleep deprivation, they were able to, work to influence us. My daughter was strong-willed, thank goodness. And when I began to realize what was going on, I told her, we have to control our thoughts. That's the only thing that's saving me. I said, I am here today with you, and got away from, a certain amount of vampirism at the house with the ex-partner from avoidance, right? And me constantly rescuing and trying to fix the problems, and until I didn't, and I finally was able to move away. So here I am now, suffering this, and I feel like I'm being tested again, and I'm learning new things. So I had connected with someone that I had met in a group about a year or so earlier, and she had a business, and she and her fiance came over to see if they could help. He went into my bedroom and he started saying Christian things. All of a sudden he gets hit in the head with a perfume bottle. Oh, before that, I heard something crack my mirror. Something hit my mirror and it cracked. And I called in a panic because I was sleep deprived, working 2 jobs back and forth, now caring for not just myself, but my daughter, and figuring out how to pay all the bills. And I was really upset. These things are trying to break down all my defenses. Something has broke my magic mirror. There are some psychic defenses that help, but it really wasn't enough. They were trying to completely destroy all my psychic defenses. The only thing I had were my thoughts. And when we left, and I took everybody home, my friend said, you are going to have to stay calm because they're feeding off of you. You're going to have to stay calm, and you're going to have to be quiet. You're going to have to be loving, both of you, to one another. You're going to have to watch funny shows and laugh. This will repel them. And this is what we did. And so I told her, we can't fight because we're so tired, and neither one of us has done the dishes. They're feeding off of that. And she's a Scorpio, so she's deep. She's not shallow. And she knew I was learning about energy and practicing at an altar. And so she followed my instructions. Now, while she was at school, I'd laid in her bed, and something came through the wall, through the plug in the wall, and said something to me in my right ear. And I thought, Mother of God, they've affected my child. And I told her, I can see you're affected. You know, we're both affected. You've got to control your thoughts. You've got to speak to yourself. I am safe. I am protected. I am strong. I am healthy. I love myself. I have strong self-esteem. I'm confident. I said, but in the meantime, you're going to sleep on the sofa, and I'm going to go look for another apartment, and we're going to get the hell out of here. She said, okay. And I did. I took as much time off as I could at the time. I got my W-2s. I went to the tax return office. I filed to get my money back. 2 weeks later, I got my money back, and I'd already been looking at apartments. I told her I found an apartment. Pack your bags, we're moving. I found somebody to help me move for free off of Craigslist. And fortunately, at that time, I established some credit. And I kept a credit card that my ex didn't want me to keep. But I did, and I had a good credit score, and I had money to move in. And I went to the top floor, and so then there it was peaceful. We were by the river. There was a park and a sidewalk and trees, and we were able to rest and recover. But what I learned was the power of thoughts. Now, you can be psychically bound by nothing more than someone's tongue. Words. Psychic binding. The tongue is swifter than the sword. Now, I have not worked with Astarte for a couple of months, but I did a working the other night on a Wednesday, and I had a dream I'd like to share because this might be for somebody out there who's watching. I was in a kitchen, and I was going to a refrigerator. I was looking through somebody else's eyes, and all of a sudden, another younger male who reminded me of my neighbor who was in his early 30s and was overweight came stomping through and came around, stomped over to the refrigerator, opened the refrigerator and said, I'm taking my food. And I just stood there and I went, what? And he said, you took my food. And this person said, no, I didn't. And he said, yes, I did. Yes, you did. I mean, he was obviously mad. He made a point of stomping in and around to show, look at me, I'm mad. And so he turns around to take it, and the other person is just watching. They're not reacting. They're not getting upset. They're not starting to talk back and get defensive. They're just observing. They're not getting caught up in this energy. And I got the feeling that this was a new type of a feeling for this person. That they were starting to feel a sense of self and having some peace and some self-control regarding things that are going on around them. And this person said, I know you took it because I saw it. I recorded it. Something about the view. I saw it through the camera. I caught it on camera. And I've been waiting 4 days for you to return it. You haven't returned it, so I'm taking it. And I got the feeling that there had been a delineation of food and supplies, and this person had their own refrigerator maybe. And so it was, this is my area, and this is my kitchen, this is my food. And so the person was like, basically, okay, well, I guess I got my hand caught in the cookie jar. But this person, after that, lifted their leg like a dog and went, and the other person looks at him and goes, like, really? He says, grow up. Like, wow. That This is how we've all been behaving? This is my family member or my roommate? This is how we behave? And this person was really disgusted. And I don't know if he was trying to poke the bear and get the other person to take the bait and really respond and really get defensive and start arguing back like they used to, right? Exchanging this negative, highly charged energy, just feeding off of one another like psychic vampires. And he didn't do it. Whoever this person is, they didn't do it. That's not how adults behave. If you had an agreement, you approach the person and say, hey, brother, sister, roommate, can I talk to you for a minute? I need to talk to you for a minute. We had an agreement. You took my food. Unfortunately, I've caught you on camera or something. I know that's my food. You know, why are you doing that? You're breaking our agreement. Don't do it again. No, they're not capable of doing that. And this person is apparently seeing this for the first time. And really doesn't want to get caught up in it, doesn't want to be a part of it. So congratulations to whoever that is. They're starting to demonstrate some self-control and feeling a sense of, I'm not getting caught up in the drama and the chaos, which is very, very good. It's a very good step. So, oh, by the way, this person also stomped out of the room like, I'm still mad. See me? I'm mad. I'm stomping out of the room. So this is how people are when they are immature and they're helpless and they don't know how to do anything except get angry and mad and show you their authority, I guess. So, you know, maybe this person is thinking, that's my role model? I don't know. So I wanted to share that. And then, again, I'm watching videos on energy and why people start doing things the way they do. There's behaviors that we pick up, we adopt. It permeates our society, and it could be in your family. Maybe all the men are given free passes to act this way. This is the way the family, you know, unfortunately is just behaving and reacting. And there's no understanding about energy. It's not good to get yourself all riled up or overly heated and angry. I know, because I used to do it. And it was a lot of times when I was feeling completely overwhelmed in my life and I was overqualified at the second part-time job, but I was doing what I could do to survive and be away from the narcissistic partner, you know. And these are words that I've been learning that I find to be very helpful. It helps you get a handle on certain things, certain traits, certain personality traits, certain aspects. And so you can recognize these toxic behaviors and you can recognize red flags. There's other terms that I'm hearing that I need to go back and watch these videos and write them down. But I've already given you several of them. And that would be gunny sacking. You know, when somebody decides to pull something out of their gunny sack from an argument months ago to throw it in your face. And just a lot of other tactics that I'm seeing actually exists in a lot of the ideologies, the religious churches that I was going to my whole life, really. There's never really been a change. And, you know, I've said they talk out of both sides of their mouth. It's, even if it's very positive, people are just still following. Why do we keep following? There comes a point when we are ready to stand on our own and decide for ourselves what we want and how we want to live. What type of environment do we want to be in? Do we want to be in a somewhat peaceful, attractive, calm environment, if that's what we need? Or do we want to continue to be around people that are angry and gossiping and slandering and miserable and using profanity, every other word? And unfortunately, I've heard that my son does that. He was doing it when he was a teenager. He's in his mid-20s now, and I've heard that unfortunately he's still the angry child, which he turned into around the age of 12. So he's got some narcissistic traits, similar to his father, but different. So it manifests in different ways. And I know that he learned from me about affirmations and how to talk to himself. And I don't know if he's re-explored that. I know that he did go to a counselor off and on for a couple of months, and then he stopped going. So that can be a good foundation for somebody. If they learn how to speak to themselves, how to control their thoughts, or how to take a breath and stay calm, or just stand back and observe, if it's not too terrible, or just remove yourself from the area, from the situation. And then you may have to start making plans, like I did, on how you're really going to get out of the situation in a way that doesn't cause more problems. But yeah, the ways that thoughts can be used and energy can be taken from people is vast. And I'm only really beginning to explore it. I've talked about defense from the dark arts with my black salt and how to make black salt, which, by the way, it is still the most popular video I have. It now has over 5,000 views. Different ways to use it. You can use it in combination with banishing spells. You can burn a black candle to banish negativity on Saturdays. You could even burn it on Tuesdays to break up negativity. And I have a viewer, I mentioned several times, who has thanked me for talking about banishing negativity every Saturday with a black candle. She got rid of a family curse. She believed her family had cursed her. And I don't know if it's just because of the way they were. She's just recently separated herself from her family. She's in her 40s. And she said they were all narcissistic and alcoholic. And it's not an easy thing. But she's a grown woman now. So, we come to this earth. Earth is a school to strive and to grow. And people that get away and they get free passes for bad behavior and creating chaos and drama and all kinds of negative energy that they're exhibiting and throwing around are not really happy, and they're not wanting to grow. That's their problem. That's their journey. That's their story. It doesn't have to be yours. And becoming more conscious, and this is what this is about, staying calm and recognizing these behaviors that are destructive, is raising your consciousness. So you're coming out of like the dark, where you were in an unconscious type of a state, really, and you're becoming more aware, more conscious, and you're not reacting. You're starting to learn maybe how to be proactive, which is even better, to plan ahead and do things that are going to be much more productive. This is a much more productive way of having control. And another one of these issues is control. A lot of times there's just an obsession with control. And when they don't feel that they have control, they behave that way. Control is an illusion. It's never worked, and it never will. All it does is produce all kinds of negativity and resentment. And when you get caught up in an argument with someone, you're constantly doing this. This is how, these people behave and interact. Then it becomes a pattern instilled in you. It's a reinforcement of how you're going to be having a personality trait who's a hothead that nobody wants to be around. So if you aspire to be better and not bitter, congratulations. This is what we are here for. And the people who are not growing will suffer even more. It's just inevitable. So I guess that's all I want to say for today. I've still got a lot. I'm probably going to have to write down so that I can be maybe more organized in my thoughts when I'm speaking. But back to the haunted house, I guess, for a minute. The conclusion is, I finally realized after many years that some of these spirits that I had seen with the infrared on my camera phone, they looked like skeletons in these monk suits, and they were at the radiator, causing it to make all this noise. And they were reaching out to me at the camera, trying to take it away from me, calling me a bitch. These were shamans, I have no doubt, who had dedicated their afterlife to haunting and psychically vampiring, energy harvesting, destroying the lives of anyone that came to live in that area, in that land, that particular neighborhood, and within like a four block radius at least. There had been, I did the research, there had been bloody massacre by the white men to the Native Americans. And so, again, one thing I've said is that I think if we don't start trying to clear the land and try to make amends for what's been done to the Native Americans, I don't think America is really going to improve. But in the meantime, we're learning to be aware of our thoughts. Thoughts are things, thoughts are energy, and how to use them. And you can use them to actually heal yourself and become much more confident within yourself, have some more self-esteem, and have some self-love so that you don't feel threatened by anyone who's acting cuckoo. All right? There's another subject of justified anger and having to really maybe defend yourself if there are things that are going on. It's continuous and it's slanderous and it's really bad. But that's something different for another time. And sometimes, those people are really suffering. They're being psychically bound by family members who are also psychically bound by religion, by ideologies, by things that don't help anybody, by ideas that don't work anymore. Everybody is just, it's like the angry family. There's all kinds of disharmony going on because there's people that are psychically bound and people that are still psychically binding others on a regular basis. So I hope that this has been a little bit understandable and you're looking into what psychic attack is and can be, and that you're making sure that you're not getting yourself into a position where you are overly tired and exhausted and vulnerable to anything or anyone that can start trying to make an impression on you and get what they want. Remove yourself from the situation. Go to the gym, take a walk, get away from it, and re-energize and rejuvenate yourself to get that energy back. I want to talk about SADD and winter and harvesting from nature. The candle flame is one thing that has helped me for many, many, many years. This is called drawing from the flame. You look at it and you breathe in, and you should be feeling a tingle, okay? This is from nature. You're drawing from nature. No one should ever be depleting their own energy, or God forbid, taking it from someone else, okay? There's other ways, like I talked about, dirt, stones, but color therapy, light. If you're prone to anger, I would say don't work too much with fire. Work more with water. Get yourself a fountain that trickles. Turn on the water faucet at the kitchen sink. You've got to work with the elements in nature. You've got to connect to the earth and the negative ions so that you get grounded and you are getting balanced. All these positive ions that build up need to be counteracted with the negative ions from nature. So I do have a couple of videos on that, proper diet, and yeah, let's become more aware for this end of the year and the coming of the new year. And I will talk to you more on this subject. And let me know if you want to learn more, if you're studying more, if this is interesting. You're learning about psychic attacks from coworkers. Even corporate America is narcissistic. All they care about is the bottom line. We live with this on a daily basis. It permeates our society. All right? I've said these things before. I'm saying them again. Blessed Yule, blessed winter solstice. Take care of yourself, and I will see you soon.